Let's bring in the Hall of Famer, the three-time Super Bowl champ, 12 NFL seasons, all of them great, Michael Irvin. Listen, this guy's got a flight to catch, and
That's good, baby.
He's given us 10, 12 minutes.
Colin, you know I've been waiting to get over here with you, buddy, and talk with you. I've been telling you that every day that I come through here, so I'm looking forward to chopping it up. And great conversation about Anthony Richardson. Let's also talk about this. When he gets back, that was that right shoulder. He still won't be able to throw like he should. And I tell people, I don't care how talented you are. In this league, you cannot win by yourself. You need other players around.
But he's fun to watch.
He's fun to watch.
So my knock on Mike McCarthy is the NFL, Michael, it's gotten very smart very fast. All the rules are offense.
I talked about that today. You're right.
Shanahan, McVay, McDaniel, I can see him showing off.
Right.
Mike McCarthy feels very old school. I said this today to start my show. What is their offense? I don't see the clever.
And I don't either. And you got dominated yesterday in both areas. You got out schemed. Out coached like a whooping beat down.
Right.
Kyle Shanahan put a beating on both Mike McCarthy and Dan Quinn. When you see guys running net wide open,
that's scheme.
That's scheme, and that means you need to figure it out from a coaching perspective. But even when the players had a chance to make plays, they made plays over Dallas, and so that's personally. So I give this to Mike McCarthy. I put this on Dan Quinn, but also the players on that football field. They did not show up.
Okay, so let's be fair. You played 12 years in the NFL. You were a big physical receiver, okay?
Right.
And so mostly healthy, but you took a lot of shots. You were a guy willing to go over the middle in an era where nobody wanted to go over the middle. So instead of having an 18-year career, it's 12. So we have to be honest about Dak.
Right.
Dak's had some injuries, lower extremity. He no longer moves. He's just a pocket guy. And Michael, as much as everybody likes him, we've never thought he's a wizard in the pocket. It's his leadership, IQ, maturity, toughness. When I watch him, I feel like he's lost the fastball. Like it's 91, it's not 98. I'm not blaming him. But when you have those injuries, lower body injuries, he doesn't move like he used to. So he's kind of now just become a distributor.
Right, which means I have to make sure that the people that he is playing with has an ability to get him over the humps that we need to get him over. And I'm with you on this. CeeDee Lamb is an extraordinary wide receiver. He's playing the slot. But I said today on Undisputed, we need a big receiver outside that can give you those I'm trusting you throws. You see, you don't have to be perfectly accurate all the time.
Right.
A big dude that says, I'm trusting you, and it's outside. San Fran's toughest part of that defense is in the middle of that defense, and we try to attack the toughest part because we don't have the help outside. What is Brandon Cooks done outside and Michael Gallup done? They're deep ball threats that haven't threatened anybody.
Well, and also when you've got offensive line injuries, it's hard to throw a deep ball. You don't get time. I thought Dalton Schultz was highly productive. Now, he's not Jason Witten.
Right.
I'm not saying that.
Right.
But when he left, Cowboy fans were like, we're good. And I'm like, no, tight ends are really valuable. Ask Patrick Mahomes. Here's what I wonder. When I watch that game, I can beat up on McCarthy and I can beat up on Dak. Is it just possible that San Francisco, because they've had multiple quarterbacks, they don't pay Brock Purdy anything. Their roster's the best in the pro game right now by a long stretch.
Yeah.
Philadelphia is kind of close.
Right.
But when I watched that game, I was thinking about this. How many Cowboys Zach Martin would start for San Francisco? Zach Martin. Micah Parsons would start. Trayvon Diggs would have. He's out.
Right. Tyron Smith, too.
They got about 5 guys that would start. But I don't even know if would CeeDee Lamb start over Debo? Not in that offense. Or Brandon Ayuk. I don't know. How many guys would start for San Francisco?
Right. San Fran has a stacked roster. And it's why we take credit away from what Brock Purdy is doing, which we shouldn't be taking credit away, because you can have a stacked roster. If you don't have the master to mastermind that offense, then you're not producing like a Brock Purdy's producing. That's what makes him so phenomenal. That's also what's hard on Dak or hard on the Matt Jones that we're talking about, because everybody's seeing Brock Purdy and saying, well, why can't we find one of them? Why can't we have one of them?
Yeah.
And all of this process and time people had is gone because he stepped right on the scene and did it.
You know, and they took big swings. When Christian McCaffrey trade was done, most people thought they gave up too much. Now it looks like the steal of the decade.
Right.
They gave up, multiple draft picks for, and he didn't even, he didn't really dominate the game yesterday. I want to look at Cowboys' schedule. So I said this earlier. There is a little bully ball. So when you were with the Cowboys, and I was telling a friend this yesterday, you guys were alpha. You played better in big games. Even your coach had the ego. The Cowboys, Aikman, Irvin Cowboys, were in the biggest games at your best.
And we played bully ball.
But you also, you could play multiple ways. So if you look at who Dallas has beaten, poor quarterbacks they can take a lead on and play downhill. In games in which they fall behind, Arizona or San Francisco, they don't have your ability to engineer comebacks. So my takeaway is when I look at some of these games, Michael, this thing gets tough. Justin Herbert, Matt Stafford, Jalen Hurts. Do you think they stem this right here and it's good? Or are you concerned about this is the beginning of some clear signs this team's not a come-from-behind team?
Listen, I'm going to say this. I will say this. I'm not worried about every team doing what I saw San Fran do. That ain't possible. And I know there are a lot of Cowboy people out here, Cowboy haters and all that. Say, oh, look, there are plenty of teams that can do that. Stop lying to me. Stop lying to yourself. That's not reality. Right. It's just not reality. Yeah. It's not, you don't have that. First of all, you don't have the mastermind of a Kyle Shanahan, as your head coach or offensive coordinator. These guys are stacked at every position. And every position, then you got the quarterback that plays this offense and this system perfectly. Justin Herbert has done great. I love him. He's a physical freak and a talent, but I ain't taking him over Brock Purdy. It's the dispensing thereof. Now, we think somebody can run and somebody can jump. We say, wow, he's great. Brock Purdy just does, all he does is do the right thing and find the answers. And yeah, it doesn't look like a Barry Sanders run or a Peyton Manning or Aaron Rodgers great throw, but it is perfection. It is perfection that you cannot stop. I don't think a team in the NFL can beat them right now.
Nope, I don't either. Okay, so
they got a good shot at going undefeated because Brock Purdy ain't going to stray off this. And you ain't going to get in Brock Purdy's head, and he ain't going to try to become this superstar that he is not. He's right here, and everybody on that football team plays hard. You know why? Because there is no number one or number two.
That's right.
There's only a solution to the problem, and if you're running hard and the defense presents a solution, he's going to find you if you're the solution. Well, that's what makes them
Yesterday's
tough.
A great example. It wasn't McCaffrey. It was Kittle.
Right.
By the way, I'm telling you right now, this Brandon Ayuk kid, watch out.
And he has taken them to the next level. The next level.
I mean, he is.
Now if you gave me Ayuk without Debo, I'd say let's tear his butt up. But Ayuk with Debo makes a hard call.
They used Debo yesterday as a running back, essentially.
Right. And that's what it makes it so hard because now you don't know where you're putting him or how you get him.
Okay, Jaguars dropped so many passes early. They tightened it up this weekend. Ravens now are in a situation. It's funny. I'm thinking about your career. You had good hands.
Wait. The Jags dropped a lot of balls. Not yesterday, though.
Not yesterday,
They played well yesterday, and I started the show yesterday also talking about Zay Jones' return. You know, Zay Jones is Robert Jones' son. You know, I raised Zay, and I know what kind of dude he is, and I talked to him, and I talked to the players in Jacksonville. They want him around. And I said, Zay Jones, we should talk about Von Miller returning. I said, I talk about Von Miller returning, but Zay Jones returning. He's the key in that offense, and they're getting back on track. Jacksonville can be something now.
Yeah, no, I do. I think Jacksonville can as well. So here's the thing. I don't expect coaches and quarterbacks to always get along. Jimmy probably barked at Aikman, and Walsh probably barked at Montana, and Belichick and Brady never had dinner, and Peyton Manning did the offense, and Tony Dungy did the defense. I don't expect you to break bread. But it is different. I mean, you've got the outspoken Sean Payton, the kind of polished and diplomatic Russell Wilson. I think it would work if they won. Mm-hmm. But those are different dudes.
You saw it.
And they're 1-5. Yeah. Like, do you think we could have – I mean, at some point, you didn't love every Cowboy. But when you're winning, you just pat each other on the back and you go to your separate part of town and get into your car and leave the parking lot. When you're losing games, those relationships that aren't great – I mean, Do you think this thing could get worse? What happens in Denver?
Well, and this is interesting because I watched it yesterday, and you saw when they came off, and you kind of see what Sean was. This it.
To Russell.
He went after Russell, and Russell was trying to play it off as they moved to the field. Now, let me tell you something. As long as you got respect for the head coach, and you know, and you're working closely with him, and you can feel, yeah, we're going to come out of this. We're going to come out of it. You can make it work. Right now, Sean Payton and Russell Wilson need each other. So they can't go hard at each other and start tearing each other apart. They need each other because they're stuck there together, and they got to turn this thing around. And now they're looking right at Kansas City, which don't look good.
Yeah. It's you ever have teammates that you didn't click with perfectly? I mean, you were kind of you were wild and young and dynamic. I mean, Jimmy had to reel you in.
Right. But teammates that I didn't click with, I got along with everybody, but I was open because Jimmy was pretty open. If you can't help me win, you can't truly be my friend. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go somewhere. And I mean, you just can't play on this team. I got guys that I'm still friends with that I met, that I knew when Tom Landry drafted me. But I knew they had to go when Jimmy came because they were not Jimmy kind of guys.
Right.
We have to have one focus. It has to be on winning. Everything has to be on winning, not making no money, not anything. If we focus on winning, everybody gets what they want, and those guys weren't that.
Okay, so tonight, it's an interesting game. So Jordan Love and the Packers play the Raiders. You'll be watching it in Dallas.
Love it.
So I have this theory is that it used to be that you gave a quarterback 3 years.
Yeah.
But now they have 7-on-7
We don't have
camps.
time to wait 3 years.
By the way, it's $1 billion.
Because you got to try to win the Super Bowl while they're in their rookie year. That's the rookie contract.
So I give you till Thanksgiving of your second year. Mm-hmm. And then if I don't see it, I go upstairs and tell the owner, we got to draft another quarterback. Right. I wouldn't assign Daniel Jones. Okay. Jordan Love's fascinating, though, tonight. So he sat for 3 years. So I'm like, I'm not giving you a year and a half. I've said Thanksgiving this year. You sat for 3 years behind Aaron.
Right.
Got the same coach, O-line, backs. Right. I'm going to give him till Thanksgiving, and if I don't see it, I got everything else checked in Green Bay. I'm going to go draft another quarterback. Am I being unrealistic?
Yeah.
I'm being unrealistic.
Yeah. Let me say it again. Yeah. Because you should see it already. You don't see it enough in Jordan Love already. I've seen enough already to know. Right now, Green Bay has their quarterback.
You think so?
Oh, God, yes. I've seen enough plays made and situations and throws he make in situations that says, I know it now. Now what you're worried about, what you should be doing is just putting things around him. You have your future. And it's one thing when you have a young quarterback because you're going to lose football games. So you got to take those losses. But if you know that young quarterback is going to be here for a while, like Jordan Love should be in Green Bay for a while, those losses a little less hurtful because you know everything, all the losses now are going to be something that he's going to use later to help us because he's going to be around. The problem comes in when you got a young damn quarterback that ain't going to be around. Now I'm in a lose-lose situation. Green Bay, you're not in a lose-lose.
So you feel good about Jordan Love?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel good about Jordan
Okay,
Love.
So I'm being a little hyper and a little unrealistic.
No. You're just being realistically comparing them to the two greats that came before him. And you saw such early success in those two guys, Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, so you saying, let me see some early success. I'm looking at early growth.
Okay. We know you got to catch a flight. One more question. Let's pivot back to the Cowboys.
Yes.
Okay. McVay, Shanahan. I watch these young coaches. LaFleur, Mike McDaniel. And then I watch Mike McCarthy.
I'm with you here.
Okay, what's the record got to be? Because this was a showcase game, and you got humiliated. What is the record for Mike? When do we have grown-up discussions about we got to go younger and get an offensive coach in Dallas? When do we have those discussions?
I'm saying you're starting to have some discussions right now. Let me tell you why you're starting to have discussions right now. Because as constructed, Mike McCarthy came in and started talking about, well, we want to slow it down and everything.
Right.
And play more complementary ball. And that's all fine when you can control things, But yesterday was not complimentary ball, and I needed to see an offense do something with that defense. You know that was a tough defense. You knew what you were facing.
Arizona moved the ball at times against them.
And yeah, Arizona moves against other teams that moved against them, and Dallas did not. And that's straight on Mike McCarthy. And you're seeing these young geniuses in the league now, taking offenses that the Mike McCarthys and the Bill Walshes have had for a long time and doing other things with it. That's knocking off the great Bill Belichick's and all of those guys. It's time to continue to move forward offensively, and Mike McCarthy has to look into that.
All right, you got to go to the airport.
Yeah, I'm going to just go to the airport and get more people bothering me about the Cowboys in Miami. So don't feel, don't rush me to that. It's just more pain on my way.
Mario Cristobal should have taken a knee. I like him. I brought him on the show.
I like him, too. I love Mario Cristobal, man. I love his brother. They all went St. Thomas, all of that. But I want to help him understand stuff. This is the best player in football. Hunt. Just like that, and we go home, and we could have been in the top 10 right now. At least getting right up there, and I don't know when the last time
Sometimes
we were
coaches,
that close.
I saw Lincoln Riley do this in overtime. Caleb Williams made it work. Sometimes coaches get a little clever. They
too
like
clever.
to show off.
Too clever.
I thought overtime USC was doing some fancy thing, and they move, and I'm like, thank God Caleb Williams, the best player in college.
Right. When he snuck that ball, when they had 3 dudes over there, 2 dudes over there, 1 dude. Like, what is this? You're outthinking yourself. Right. Now, if somebody shoots, if somebody shoots that gap, you put 2 guys right there and they shoot and tackle Caleb right then, you blow that. I'm like, come on, dude. Stop trying to outthink. So I understand we're moving to a time where we're bringing these geniuses in. Mike McDaniels don't look like a Vince Lombardi, but he's a genius getting out his Tesla and his backpack on. He's a genius. He's a genius. But sometimes don't be a smart dummy. Just take a knee. Just go for it. Just kick the field goal. Stop being smart dummies.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. All right, go to the airport.
Yeah, I'll get to the airport, man. I ain't been home in a while. I just want to go see the house that I paid for, and I'm come right back. That's all. I'll see y'all later.
All right. Michael Irvin, everybody. It's great to see you. Michael Irvin.
Baby. All right, baby. Good to see you, buddy.
Appreciate you,
Always
Michael.
good. Colin, you know you my dude.